Hey guys, Kev here, and wanted to do the next installment of Jack Wolf knives. So this is the second quarter, or whatever you want to call it, of Jack Wolf knives. The next three releases. So the first three we checked out were the Sharpshooter, the Laid Back Jack, and the Little Bro. And the next ones to come in line are the Midnight Jack, the Canine Jack, and the Benny's Clip Jack. The Benny's Clip, is that what? Yeah, Benny's Clip Jack. So I am guessing, just so you know, I'm not looking these up before I do them. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure these are the next three. You guys can correct me anywhere along the way if I get it wrong, but I got a pretty good idea, I think. So let's start off with the Midnight. Now, this one was probably the first, how do I put this without, I don't want to make it sound like any of the previous ones weren't good, because they're fantastic, but this was like the first home run. It's still one of the most popular Jack Wolf models there is. This particular version in the Purple Haze Fat Carbon is probably the most sought after of the Jack Wolf knives currently, because they only did one version in Fat Carbon at the time, or carbon fiber, and it was Purple Haze Fat Carbon. All the other ones were micarta. This was when he was still doing all micarta. Starting with the next one, the Canine, we start seeing more options, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, so the Midnight Jack is absolutely fantastic. You have the triple flutes, you have the Purple Haze Fat Carbon, the beautiful belt satin, the full hollow grind, all of that goodness, and a very, very cool design. You guys know I'm a big sheep's foot fan, so this one really struck me. And it was funny because this one released about I think a month or so after we had designed this guy. This is the Barley, the Urban EDC Barley we're doing with them, which I believe is up on pre-order right now. So if you're interested, go check it out. There's always a link to Urban EDC down below, and we'd appreciate it if you pick one of these up on pre-order. It's a bit unique because it has a finger choil. Not a lot of slip joints have finger choil, so it protects you, and it's ultra thin at 0.32 of an inch. So anyway, it's similar in nature, and we actually talked to Ben when we were designing this, because he helped us with the tang geometry to make sure you get that really nice pop when you're opening and closing it. That walk and talk is very, very good, and a lot of that has to do with the geometry of the tang corners, and that's something Ben picked up along the way that is absolutely fantastic, and his slip joints have the best action that I've handled. The combination of stronger spring and those tang corners is just phenomenal. The Midnight Jack, is safe to say, this was my favorite release when it came out, and it remained my favorite until the Venom Jack at the end of the year. That one ended up stealing Knife of the Year for me. Not just Jack Wolf, not just slip joint, Knife of the Year for me. That's how much I love these knives, and the Venom, just, there's something about that one that just took the cake. But this one is right there. You know, the only downside to the Midnight is it has some sharp corners, like the edges here, and you can actually see, if I show you, I have my Feel Good Jack, which is a sort of, not a rendition of the Midnight, but very similar. It's kind of a thinner, squared off Midnight Jack, where this is a Barlow, this is a doctor's knife. But you'll see down here on these corners, he chamfered off and rounded everything so nicely. And I think that was something maybe he learned from the Midnight release, and because these are a little bit sharp and you can feel those edges a little bit in your palm. The spine is a little bit sharp as well, but that's just kind of the nature of the full hollow grind, and you learn to just you learn to just use it without that being an issue. But yeah, the Feel Good Jack is kind of a sequel in a sense to the Midnight, in my opinion. I actually prefer the Feel Good. It's probably my favorite model at this point. So yeah, the Midnight is wonderful. Just a great example of a slip joint. I think I might have just cut myself on the spine there. Damn. That is sharp. Holy shit. That's funny. Literally bleeding. Holy shit. I might need to knock that down. I've knocked down a couple. The little bro and the big bro I knocked down with just a file or sandpaper just to get that corner off a little bit. And that's what you get with that full hollow grind. That literally just cut the shit out of me. Let me see if yes. See if I can get one of these on real quick to not be bleeding while doing this video. But yeah, that's one of the things that, one of the very few gripes that people have with Jack Wolf knives is the spine tends to be a little bit sharp. And I do believe he's addressed that since this release, but this was one of the first releases, so this is not going to stay on well, so we'll see how this goes, but I don't really feel like pausing this or anything. All right, so that's the Midnight. Love it. One of my favorites for sure. I have a really cool Northwoods Leatherworks slip. It's lavender Butero leather, I believe, and then it has this white wax coating over top. So as you carry and use it and everything, it wears that white out, and it'll have that purple bleed through, which is very, very cool. The next one is the Canine Jack, and again, I have a ghost leather slip. So this is red Butero underneath and then black wax over top, which is very cool. This one is the Canine Jack, and this was the biggest surprise for me at the time of the release because I did not anticipate loving this model as much as I do. I think I finally got this on. So this was one I looked at even from the beginning when he was showing the models, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, a dog leg. I'm just not a dog leg guy. Like, I'd seen the Pena dog leg front flipper, and I don't know, just not a fan of them. And hold on, let me grab a sip of my LaCroix. Wash that copper blood smell down. But being that I am able to review them all because I get a review sample, I was blown away by this one. I didn't anticipate loving it as much as I did because I thought it would be uncomfortable in the hand, but it's the complete opposite. It's one of the most comfortable knives in hand that he's released. It's really, really good. Now, I'm also not a fan of like a bulbous sort of spear point where it comes down to a stubby tip like this. But it works really well. After carrying and using this for review, I really enjoyed it and honestly didn't want to stop carrying it. Excuse me, that's how much I really love this one. The Walk and Talk, again, very good, just like all of them. This one doesn't have as strong of a spring as the Midnight, but it still has a good bounce and everything. It's just very well done. This one came in this dark matter red. So you have the dark matter with little splotches of red in it. And it also came in a twill carbon fiber. So there was a different type of carbon fiber. It wasn't fat carbon or camo carbon. It was twill. And then there was two micarta versions, I believe. And yeah, so I was always getting the carbon fiber versions. I would either trade, sell, give away the one that Ben sent me for review, and then I would buy a dark matter or a carbon fiber one to make sure I had all the carbon fibers. And yeah, the dark matter red looks good in my opinion. And it just has such an ergonomic feel, a great blade shape. It's very thin. Slices like an absolute beast. It eats material up because of the way the blade shape is. It's just really, really good. And that surprised the shit out of me. So I was very excited when this one actually landed. So there you go. That's the canine jack. And then the next one here is the Benny's clip. And I guess it's not the Benny's clip jack. I guess it's just the Benny's clip. This one is probably at the bottom of my list of favorites when it comes to Jack Wolfs. And it's mostly because of the size and then the blade shape. So I've become a bit of a clip point fan. I mean, I do like some clip points, like the sharpshooter I really like, the new gunslinger. But there's just something about this blade shape that doesn't do it for me. The not having the full hollow grind, I call it the rhino's horn, where it kind of like bellies up to the tip. Kind of reminds me of like the Luft AV&T. Just not my favorite style of blade. And then it came in toxic fat carbon or camo carbon, and it also came in Arctic fat carbon. So now we got 2 fat carbon versions, and there was 2 micartas. I think that's how it went, but I'm not positive. And I wanted the toxic just because it was different. You can see the one I got is like kind of dull on this side, and then bam, you get a lot of it on this side, which is kind of cool. But overall, I mean, I think just toxic green isn't my color. I don't know if the blue, I like blue, but I don't know if it would have done anything different for me. I think it's just this model doesn't appeal to me as much as the other models. And there's nothing like wrong with it. It's great in the hand. The walk and talk isn't quite as snappy as others. It's a little, I dare say, mushy. It's not like mushy really to that extent, but for a Jack Wolf, it's, you know, probably the weakest of the bunch when it comes to walk and talk. It's still really good though. Overall, still a really good knife. You still get that hollow grind that's very thin behind the edge and everything. Just a bigger slip joint, and you know, just the styling of it isn't for me. That's all. Am I bleeding? Damn it, I'm bleeding through this thing now. Oh shit! Where's that cloth? Hold on. Just get the blood off of here. I think we got it. All right. Sorry, I know that's a little weird, but hey, shit happens. And I don't like to stop. Damn it. Just every time I touch it, just need to stop using that hand, apparently. All right. So, put it away. That is the Benny's clip. And, you know, it's a good knife. It really is a good knife. And it's some people's favorite. It's just not mine. That's all. So, you had the Benny's clip, the Canine Jack, and the Midnight Jack. 3 really good knives. 1 extraordinary knife, in my opinion, that needs to have the edge up here cut down a little bit. That's never happened before, and I've fidgeted with this thing for, I mean, a year at this point. So it's very strange, but I guess I got the right angle and I was trying to one-hand it down, and just maybe I already had a little bit of tear there. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Which one of these 3 is your favorite? That would be a great question to ask. And since it just got released, have any of you picked up the Gunslinger Jack, the new folding locking knife from Jack Wolf Knives? I'd be curious to hear that. And I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.